A South African actress just went viral for doing what millions of women only dream of doing, and the internet has not recovered. Rorisang Mohapi, one of South Africa's most recognized faces on television, posted a video that spread across every major social media platform within hours. She was warning women publicly, boldly, unapologetically to stay away from her husband. Then she deleted it. And that is when things got truly interesting. Today we are breaking down exactly what happened, why South Africa cannot stop talking about it, and what this moment reveals about love, loyalty, and the pressures African women in the public eye face every single day. This is bigger than celebrity gossip. This is a cultural conversation that touches every African household. Stay with me. Section 1: Who is Rorisang Mohapi and why this matters? Rorisang Mohapi is not a newcomer to South African screens. She has built her career through roles in two of South Africa's most watched productions, House of Zwide and Crossroads. These are not small, niche shows. House of Zwide pulls in millions of viewers across South Africa and the broader African continent through Mzansi magic. These are household productions that South African families sit down and watch together. Her husband, Ntuthuzelo Grootboom, is also an actor, meaning this is a power couple operating at the center of South Africa's entertainment industry. Two talented people, both in the public eye, both navigating the unique pressures that come with fame on a continent where celebrity culture is growing faster than almost anywhere else in the world. South Africa's entertainment industry, by the numbers, is worth over $900 million annually and growing. It employs tens of thousands of South Africans directly and influences the cultural conversation across all 14 SADC countries. When South African celebrities speak, people across the continent listen. So when Rorisang Mohapi speaks, she is not just speaking to Cape Town or Johannesburg. She is speaking to Harare, Lusaka, Gaborone, and beyond. That context matters enormously. Section 2: What actually happened at Fourways Mall? Here is where the story begins. Ntuthuzelo Grootboom was at Fourways Mall in Johannesburg, one of the largest and most visited shopping centers on the African continent, attracting over 20 million visitors per year. He was not just browsing. He was holding flowers. Flowers he had purchased for his wife, Rorisang. Let that image sit for a moment. A man, holding flowers for his wife, in public. And yet in that exact moment another woman approached him. Now we do not know the exact nature of that approach. We do not know if it was an innocent fun moment, an intentional advance, or something else entirely. What we do know is what happened next. Rorisang Mohapi found out. And she responded the way many African women have felt but rarely dared to act on publicly. She recorded a video. She posted it. She looked directly into that camera and told women in no uncertain terms that her husband was taken. The video exploded. It spread across Twitter, now X, across Instagram, across TikTok South Africa, across Facebook community groups. South Africans were sharing it with captions, with opinions, with memes. The comment sections became a national debate overnight. Then she deleted it. And here is where the story shifts from celebrity moment to cultural phenomenon. Because once you delete something on the African internet, people want it more. Screenshots existed. Reposts existed. The conversation had already begun, and no deletion was going to stop it. Now why did she delete it? We can only speculate. Perhaps it was advice from a publicist. Perhaps she felt she had made her point and did not want prolonged attention. Perhaps her husband asked her to. Or perhaps she reflected and made a personal choice. Whatever the reason, the deletion itself became part of the story, fueling even more debate about whether she was right to post, right to delete, or whether both decisions showed a woman firmly in control of her own narrative. CTA section, like this video right now, help more Africans see this story and this conversation. Section 3: The key players and what they represent. Let us talk about the people at the center of this. Rorisang Mohapi represents something specific in the South African cultural imagination. She is the educated, talented, public African woman who has built something for herself and is unashamed to protect what is hers. Her roles in House of Zwide and Crossroads have given her characters that South African women root for. And in this moment, she became one of those characters in real life. Ntuthuzelo Grootboom, for his part, has remained largely silent publicly on the matter, which South Africans have also noted. Some see his silence as respectful, allowing his wife to handle a situation that directly affected her emotionally. Others see it as complicity or awkwardness. The reading of his silence tells you a lot about where different South Africans stand on questions of marriage, public image, and gender roles. And then there is the third key player, South African social media itself. Mzansi Twitter, as it is popularly known, has become one of the most engaged, most opinionated, most culturally sharp social media communities in Africa and arguably in the world. South Africans online do not hold back. They analyze. They debate. They meme. They cancel. They celebrate. And they did all of that with this story simultaneously. The diversity of opinions, some women praising Rorisang for her boldness, others questioning whether public call-outs serve any real purpose, men weighing in on what they thought the approach women actually wanted, showed a society actively wrestling with its own values in real time. Section for the Pan-African implications and the bigger picture. Now let us zoom out, because this is what we do here. This is not just a South African celebrity story. This moment is a mirror held up to African society at a specific and important cultural crossroads. Across Africa right now, we are seeing a generation of women educated, visible, empowered, navigating social media in ways that are rewriting the rules of public life. From Lagos to Nairobi, from Accra to Johannesburg, African women with platforms are speaking in ways that their mothers and grandmothers could not. And that is genuinely revolutionary. But with that visibility comes scrutiny. African women in the public eye face a double standard that is brutal and well documented. If you protect your relationship publicly, you are called insecure. If you stay silent while being disrespected, you are called weak. There is almost no response available to an African woman in Rorisang's position that some section of the internet will not critique. Here is the data point that contextualizes everything. Africa is now the fastest growing social media market in the world. By 2025, over 400 million Africans are active on social media platforms. That means moments like this one do not stay local. They travel. They connect. They spark conversations from Dakar to Dar es Salaam. A video posted at Fourways Mall in Johannesburg becomes a continental discussion about love, fidelity, dignity, and the power of African women to set boundaries on their own terms. Subscribe right now for honest, Pan-African analysis you will not find on CNN or BBC. We cover what actually matters to Africans, told through an African lens. Section 5. What this means for Africa's future and the narrative we choose here is what I want you to take away from this story beyond the drama and the virality. Africa is producing celebrities, storytellers, and cultural influencers who are shaping global conversations. Rorisang Mohapi's story trended not just in South Africa but was picked up by entertainment platforms across the continent and diaspora communities globally. This is the rising Africa that does not wait for Western media to validate its stories. African entertainment, Nollywood, Mzansi Productions, Afrobeats, African fashion is a multi-billion-dollar industry that is growing year on year while the rest of the world is paying attention. The people who populate that industry like Rorisang and Ntuthuzelo are not just entertainers. They are cultural architects. And the conversations they trigger, even the personal ones, shape how a generation of Africans thinks about relationships, dignity, and authenticity. Rorisang Mohapi could have said nothing. She could have absorbed the discomfort privately, smiled for the cameras, and moved on. Instead, she chose briefly but memorably to say, "This is my husband, this is my boundary, and I am not embarrassed to state that." That choice, whatever you think of it, is a statement of agency. An African woman exercising agency, publicly and unapologetically, is one of the most powerful forces on this continent right now. The deletion is equally instructive. Because the deletion says, "I made my point, and now I choose what happens next." That is not weakness. That is control. South Africa and Africa at large needs to see more of its celebrities, its public figures, its cultural voices, choosing authenticity over performance. We live in a continent that has been told for decades to perform for outside audiences, to manage its image for external approval. What Rorisang Mohapi did, in her own complicated and human and imperfect way, was perform for herself first. And that matters. This is the Africa that is rising. Not because it is perfect. But because it is honest. Because it is bold. Because it refuses to be invisible on its own terms. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Rorisang was right to post the video? Should she have handled it privately? And what does the response from South African social media tell us about where we are as a society? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and I will be responding today. End screen, and before you go, check out this next video where we dive into another story from South Africa that the mainstream media completely misrepresented. The full picture is very different from what you have been told, and you need to see it. The link is on your screen right now. Africa is watching. Africa is talking. And here Africa gets the honest analysis it deserves. Comment your thoughts, share this with someone who needs to see it, and I will see you in the next one.